All right. Hey everyone, my name's Ari. Welcome to the webinar. I'm an account executive here at Purview, and before we dive into today's topic, I just wanted to go through some general housekeeping. So all audience microphones are muted. We'll have a chance in the end to ask questions, but you can leave your questions in the Q&A chat, and we'll get to them at the end. We do encourage questions; they'll help facilitate discussion and tell us where we need to go. So a lot of you are coming to us from Haros, and as you know, Haros is our free open source viewer. Just for some general information, there have been over 1 million Haros downloads all over the world. Haros is used in a variety of industries, and notably the veterinary industry, which is, of course, what we'll be talking a little bit about today. Haros is about to hit its 10th birthday this year, and that's thanks in large part to the community. Like we say at the bottom here, the changes in development come from community feedback and our developers and donations we get. So we greatly appreciate everyone that's been a part of it. And you see the word Purview here too. Purview is actually the chief sponsor of the Haros project. In addition to that, Purview offers some solutions to imaging that we'll be talking about today. But if you're coming from Haros, we're glad to have you here and look forward to a great discussion today. So today's actual topic is about our integration. So it's called Work Smarter, Not Harder in 2025. We'll be talking about Purview's integration with EasyVet, but to a more high-level extent, Purview's integration with any major practice information management system. We'll be talking about what that means as well. And joining me today is Jay McClelland, who is our head of customer support. He hears a lot of our customers' pains and some of the problems that have made this integration happen in the first place. He also has the technical know-how to be a resource as we work through what this integration actually means for you. And now there will be a poll appearing on your screen momentarily, which will ask you pretty simply whether you're using a practice information management system today. So maybe you're using EasyVet, maybe it's another type of PIM system, or maybe you're not using one. It would be really helpful if we could get your responses to that so we can see where everyone is coming into today's discussion. And I guess while we're waiting for that, Jay, would you mind explaining what a practice information management system actually is?
Yeah, sure. So, practice information management systems, it's a big part of the vet practice, because that's going to be like the go-to system where you're going to do, things like scheduling, doing your records, potentially communications, even with billing. So it's kind of the go-to system for a lot of these vet practices. So it's a vehicle that kind of drives the business.
Great. Okay. And it looks like we're getting some responses coming in. It looks like there's a blend of some EasyVet users, some people using other PIM systems. And as we can expect, a lot of people coming into this call came in because they heard that there is an integration happening. So, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking a little bit about EasyVet, but we'll be talking about other integration possibilities as well. So let's start talking a little bit about what EasyVet is and what Purview is so we can make sense of what this integration is and why it's happening. EasyVet is probably the most commonly used practice information management system in the veterinary world, recently acquired by IDEXX. It's considered, as you see here, a best-in-class solution for veterinarians. It works, what we say, operating system and device agnostic. It works on any operating system, so Windows or Mac, on any device, so a phone, a tablet, your local workstation, and any web browser. And the main benefit here is what we have written at the bottom, central storage and access. It's a cloud-based system. You can access it from any device, and this is where you'd be storing patient records, scheduling diagnostic requests, maybe doing billing. There's a variety of capabilities within EasyVet. And then Purview Image, on the other side, handles the imaging side of the equation. So, like I mentioned before, Purview is the chief sponsor of the Haros project, and we offer a solution called Purview Image. Within Purview Image is that built-in DICOM viewer, akin to what you would see in Haros. that follows the DICOM standard and displays radiographic imaging. It is like EasyVet, operating system and device agnostic, so it can work on either operating system, on any device, on any web browser. It sits right there on the browser itself. It's not installed, and it provides central storage and access. It's probably the main benefit that our customers come seeking when we work with them, which is that users can gain access from any device. So maybe you've got multiple locations or you've got a variety of administrators and all are able to use Purview Image. We also mentioned sharing here and some of the automatic upload capabilities. But Jay, is there anything else worth mentioning with what separates Purview Image and EasyVet and what our audience should know?
Yeah, so Purview, we specialize in the DICOM medical viewing, just strictly looking at those images. We also do a lot with sharing, being able to share those records. We also have a reporting module within the system as well. But yes, it's mostly for reviewing images and doing reports within a centralized system, a web-based system that you can access, like you said, from anywhere at any time, as long as you just have a computer and a web browser.
Right, right. And you mentioning the reporting and some of the other capabilities is a nice segue into what we want to talk about next, which is why we're actually integrating. So Jay, I know I hear a lot from the veterinarian clients that come to work with us that, and this is before they're using a solution like Purview Image or a cloud PACS. Maybe they are working in a lot of disparate systems. They're writing their reports in Microsoft Word, they're storing images in their local network, and maybe using a viewer like Haros. So they come to us wanting to streamline that workflow. And this was sort of the natural progression of that, is moving from that streamlined workflow. How can we make our imaging solution work alongside this practice information management solution? So what are some of the issues that you've heard, Jay, from the veterinarian clients that come to you and maybe have need for an integration of this nature?
Yeah, sure. So they're always looking for ways to, lower costs or, improve the speed and the care of their patients or their animals. So things like dual entry, when you're having to schedule the patient initially versus when you're actually doing the medical images, you might actually have to go to the X-ray machine and the ultrasound machine and have to re-enter in the patient's information. So there's kind of a dual entry. And that also goes hand in hand with the data integrity because now you have two humans and two possible ways to make a mistake. So it's about the saving time because you're not having to do separate systems and accessing different systems and uploading to different systems. Um, and the speed of it and having a centralized place where they can go to and just have all that information in a single spot.
It's a good point. We talk about the working in multiple systems and how that can mean more time is wasted or more time is spent on these administrative activities. But you make a good point there that not only is more time spent on those activities, but there's more chance for human error if you're digging into all these systems repeatedly and having to put duplicate information. Whereas when we streamline it and we make everything into one solution, it's a little bit easier to get directly to your desired result. So we could talk a little bit about what the integration looks like from the customer's perspective and what you would actually be seeing when you have an integration of this sort. You're working in EasyVet, you have your images coming from Purview Image, your reports coming from Purview Image, but what does that actually look like for you as a customer? And I think we've got an image of that here. This right here is showing maybe a possible workflow of events from a practitioner's point of view. So, Jay, could you walk us through what's happening in a general workflow and where this integration fits in?
Yeah, sure. So this is just generally speaking. This doesn't apply for every clinic out there. But in a typical setting, you're going to have the like a front desk workstation where they be collecting the initial information from the patient or from the animal. Um, and then that information typically gets sent over to an exam schedule where they schedule out the actual images of the patient. If you don't have a communication there, this modality worklist communication, then you need to have two people, right? Because you need to have someone putting the information initially, and then also someone putting in the information at the scanner. And then finally, there's the diagnostic result and where you're doing that report. And what we're trying to show you here is that Purview kind of does all the integration kind of behind the scenes so that all of this kind of works together. You don't have to, it just kind of works behind the scene. And everything is kind of done in that fashion and quickly, and it's automated, it's streamlined. Um, but again, this is just what we're trying to show what like a standard integration might look like with an easy vet.
Right. And the behind the scenes aspect is that's probably the point right there, which is exactly what our customers have said, at least to me, and I'm sure to some extent they've said to you that when you've got multiple systems, things can get a little bit complicated, especially when you have volume and you've got a lot of images coming in. And so to have this behind the scenes and to only have to work out of your practice management system while Purview is working in the background is remarkably helpful. And I think we've got a screen here to show specifically from your perspective as a practitioner when you're in EasyVet, what you would see when you're in that patient record. This is it right here. And Jay, maybe you can give us some more information of what's going on here. But my understanding is this is what you see as the practitioner looking at the record where you're able to pull that image from Purview Image.
Right. So you'll notice in the number one spot, that's the outcome web link to the Purview image. So you would just pull up the patient, and then on that little link, that little tool there, our icon, you just click on it just to be able to view the images. The number two, the optional or secondary, that's where the Purview image report would go. We had discussed how Purview image does have a reporting system. So if you were to use the Purview reporting system, it could be available right there with a little push of an icon as well. So you could view the images and also view the reports. And then in the third section is where you have some additional functionalities to be able to like share the images. So if you need to share them back with a patient or with a referring clinic, if you need to download anything to, print it out, whatever you need to download it for. But those are some additional tools as well in that third box. But yeah, it'd be all integrated within the EasyVet system, so you wouldn't have to log into a different system to view the images or log into some other system to be able to download the report or things like that.
Absolutely. And this is, again, it goes back to your point about being behind the scenes. What you're seeing here is a snapshot of EasyVet, and it looks like it's purely EasyVet. So Purview is working there behind the scenes, getting you your imaging, your completed reports, and some of those other functions that you mentioned. But you're seeing all of this through EasyVet. And once again, it brings us back to that point of just working out of one system and getting everything through that singular system. So great. That was very helpful. So let's take a chance to hear from the audience a little, what questions you all have. And I think we have one right here. So someone asks, can I share a CT image right from EasyVet, right from this screen? Jay, what would you say to that?
Yes, absolutely. There should be a tool where you can share the study. So if we go back to, I don't know if we can go back to that screen, but you'll notice, let's see, there should be a place where you can share the images.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I don't see where it says um, to share it specifically, but yes, you could share the images um, from the system.
Yeah, yeah, I believe this is it's shared just like anything else. My understanding it comes just like sharing a medical report. So anything could be shared just like you're sharing out of EasyVet today. And Jay's right, it's right out of this screen. And another question that comes to mind is something that I've heard in the past is this is a little bit specific to Purview Image, but for any of our audience that are coming from Haros, maybe they have studies that are currently their studies are currently in Haros or they're saved somewhere in a local network. How do they get those into Purview Image?
Sure. So uh, um, we kind of look at it two different ways. We allow you to continue to use Horos if you like using Horos. There's a lot of vets out there that love to use Horos, and so we can continue to let that environment behave the way it is, and just add the purview um, behind it. So after it reaches Horos, it basically sends it to the Purview cloud where it gets stored. And then once it's stored in the cloud, you have access to all these other tools and functionalities from EasyVet or from the other integration. Um, so you can do it that way and keep Horos as is, or you can kind of replace Horos and have Purview as your main, I guess, destination for your images so that you can kind of bypass Horo, send it to the Purview cloud, and you still have all these features and functionalities from the PIM system.
Right, right. So Horos is still there. You don't have to say goodbye to it. You can continue to use it if that's your preferred viewer, but there's a way to be able to put all that into Purview.
Correct.
A few other questions that we have here. One is, can Purview automatically upload um, to, so can you, oh yeah, can you automatically upload to Purview image from your CT machine or MRI machine directly from your modality?
Yes, we do have that ability as well. So again, you in that scenario where you're sending it to Horos, you'd basically cancel out Horos and just send it directly to Purview Cloud. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Okay. And then this question is about modality work list. So how does this integration work with the modality work list?
Sure. So modality worklist is just a system where it allows the communication between, for example, like your PIM system with your actual modality or your scanner or your X-ray machine. Um, it transfers basically that patient or animal demographics so that you're not having to retype that information into the actual scanner itself. So it kind of seamlessly transfers all that data so that as soon as one person just enters it in the first time, it just transfers to all the other machines so that you're not having to duplicate that work.
Okay, got it, got it. And then the final question we have here is, and this is something you talked about before about the report writing feature. Can Purview Image generate reports and share these images with pet parents or referrers or whoever the recipient, the intended recipient is?
Yes, you can share reports just like the way that you can share the images from our system. It's a quick either email it in it directly from our system, or you can create a URL where you can essentially put it into your own email server so you can actually draft a message or if you like to do that.
Great. Okay. And we've got a screenshot here that kind of goes back to what you were just talking about before, Jay, with the modality work list. If you could explain a little bit of what we're seeing here in EasyVet and how this relates to the integration.
Yeah, sure. So I believe this is like the main screen of EasyVet. And I believe in the clinical tab, the green tab is where you actually put in the scheduling request. So that's where here's a scheduling request. This is where you would need to put in the information. Um, and after you put that information in, all the demographic and patient information would communicate with the modality so that whenever the patient's ready to be scanned or the images are ready to be taken, all that information is going to be populated right there on that machine.
Great. Okay. And that's how we get to what we're looking at right here. That's
Right. And then, yeah, once the scan is done, then all of this other tools and features will populate and be available.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your help with that, Jay, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Like I said, the purpose of this was to talk about the EasyVet integration and also any practice information management system that you have and how we can form those integrations. So, um, if you have any further questions about that integration, you'll see here at the bottom of the screen, you can reach out to me directly or reach us on our Contact Us page. My email is ari@purview.net. And you can look at a personalized demonstration of Purview image. We also do want to remind you, like I said earlier, all of the changes and updates in Haros come directly from community feedback and collaborative development. So to that end, we greatly appreciate our developers and our donors, and any amount that you donate can make a huge difference. Do be on the lookout as well for an email. You'll be getting an email with some of the relevant articles that you see mentioned here. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.